Malaysia retained the top spot in the global Islamic economy I beg your pardon, economy indicator for the 10th consecutive year, followed by Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, and the UAE. Indonesia moved up the ranking to number three. To talk to us about this is our very special guest, Brother Ibrahim Vahed, who is a consulting manager at DinarStandard. He will be unpacking for us the 10th edition of the State of the Global Islamic Economy 2023 report. That's a mouthful, but I think you're going to make it very simple for us. Hey, Brother Ibrahim, go ahead.
So I'll try my
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sister Najma. Thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure is ours. Jazakallah, you may go ahead.
Cool. So my name is Ibrahim Vahed. I'm a consulting manager at DinarStandard.com. Dinar Standard, that's the website, DinarStandard.com.
Mhm.
We are a global advisory firm with offices in New York and Dubai, but I'm based out of South Africa. Every year, we launch a report called the State of the Global Islamic Economy. Okay, so this is a report that we do annually, and it tracks the global Islamic economy as we know it. And we've been doing this for the past 10 years. This year is the 10th anniversary edition. So the question obviously is, and like you said, it's a mouthful. What exactly is the
Yes.
global Islamic economy, right?
Yeah.
And we know that there's almost 2 billion Muslims worldwide, and Muslims have unique requirements when we come to purchasing products and services, right? So when it comes to food, it needs to be halal. When it comes to finance, it needs to be Sharia compliant, etc. So all of these unique requirements and all of the sectors that are structurally affected by Islamic law is what we collectively refer to as the Islamic economy. So there's seven major sectors that we track.
Mhm.
So there's like product sectors, which is halal food and beverages. There's halal
Mhm.
pharmaceuticals, halal cosmetics. Then we also have finance products, so Islamic finance, and then there's also lifestyle, right, which is Muslim-friendly travel. We also look
Okay.
at modest fashion, and
Mhm.
the last item we look at is Islamic-themed media and recreation. So these seven sectors collectively make up the global Islamic economy. And this report, right now, we've valued the global Islamic economy at 2.3 trillion US dollars, right? So this is it's quite a behemoth, it's quite a substantial economy. And I think what you had mentioned initially is every year we do a ranking of which country is best positioned to access this opportunity. So you mentioned,
Right.
Malaysia is, number one, and they've retained
Mm.
that top spot. Indonesia climbed the ranking. Interestingly, for the first time in 10 years, South Africa has broken into the top 15. So South Africa is now 15th, ranked 15th globally in their ability to access this 2.3 trillion US dollar opportunity. So it's quite a milestone, in fact, for South Africa, and it has significant implications for businesses locally as well as consumers, right?
Right.
Um, and so just quickly how we calculate this ranking is we look at all aspects of the halal regulatory landscape.
Right.
We look at how this country's ability to access foreign markets. We look at innovation. And so we feel that right now South Africa is now it's similar. It's actually just ranked one below UK. So UK is
Mhm.
14 and South Africa is 15. And so, despite us having a relatively small population here in South Africa, it turns out that we are actually uniquely positioned to access this opportunity. So we launched this report. You can download it on the website, and I encourage the listeners to read it for two very important reasons. Number one, if you're a business owner, right? I think the time is now, right? So if you're a business owner, we encourage businesses to think big. Usually when we look at when we, I mean, in South Africa, you're starting a business and you have maybe halal products and services. You wanna try and tap the local market. The opportunity really is beyond the local market. So yes, 100% serve the local market, but the report provides spotlights, success stories and companies that were able to expand globally and access and tap this 2.3 trillion US dollar opportunity. Um, so yeah, so if you're a business, think big, look beyond our borders. There's significant opportunity in the OIC countries, so Organization of Islamic Cooperation. This refers broadly to the Muslim majority countries, and there's significant opportunity. The second reason I want to touch on is we are in the midst. I mean, this report has been released against a backdrop of a genocide that is happening in Gaza. And it's important to recognize as Muslims the purchasing power that we have, right? It's
Hmm.
extremely important. We always kind of think that the power usually rests with an elite few, but that's not true, right? We actually as Muslims, yes, we need to obviously first make dua. We need to correct our actions, and but we need to also take action, right? And we've seen that
Sure.
boycotts have been extremely effective, right? We're seeing the boycotts on many major brands, and these boycotts have been effective. But what we'd like to see is, let's move quickly from boycott to economic substitution. How do we create
Right.
opportunities out of this, right? Why not create the next Starbucks? Why can't we create the next Nestle? Why can't we create the next Coca-Cola? I think we have the power, we have the resources, and as the report finds, in this the latest report, the time is actually now.
How does this impact on global economy, as it were, and does it then become a threat, if I can use that term?
So absolutely not. So in fact, the global Islamic economy, we look at it relative to the global economy, and we know that in most of the Muslim majority countries, you see, like, if you look at the macroeconomics, the population growth is higher in Muslim majority countries than it is in countries that do not have a Muslim majority, right? So what you is going to see is, from a global economy perspective, you're going to see a shift in the global economy, and we're seeing this, right, with alliances in BRICS. We are seeing this with the rise of superpowers in Southeast in the East, right? And you're going to see the world economy is going to shift to these markets, right? And that is going to become the focus. So uh, honestly, if we don't capitalize on this opportunity very soon, the big companies. I mean, you're seeing big global companies now making a very strong presence in these markets, and that's going to continue because they realize that the world economy, is shifting to these markets.
Hmm. Are Muslim businesses proactive in this motivation around building the Islamic economy?
Look, I think Alhamdulillah, we have seen some very positive cases. We've seen we've seen companies that have capitalized on this boycott, and use this as an opportunity to access foreign markets. But by and large, it is very reactive. We find that it
Mm.
isn't a very sort of proactive approach. It's more a reactive approach, and we want to
Okay.
encourage businesses to think big, look beyond your local market. We always tell small businesses as well, you think big but you act small, right? So you must,
Hmm.
be quick, be nimble, be agile,
Mm.
but really think big, think beyond your local markets, because that is where the opportunity really is.
How well informed are Muslim businesses on this concept?
So, I mean, it turns out that, I think, at least in South Africa as well, I think we've dealt with a lot of smaller businesses, as well as a few, like, sort of medium enterprises, and I think it's actually very new to them. I mean, they're kind of aware of, like, most of them will have this idea that, you know what, I want to get my product into Malaysia, I want to get my product into the GCC. But they might not know how that would work and what the economics of that would look like, right? And so I think that the report has lots of success stories. But like I said, also, I mean, feel free to reach out, contact us, and see how we can assist in really, if it's just sharing knowledge, we would be more than happy to help and making those connections so that these businesses can, despite even if you're a small business, you can still access this huge opportunity.
Right. In terms of South Africa and our the size in terms of the Muslim population, and you say we've penetrated that economy now, if you like, how does this benefit the economy of the country?
So, especially, I mean, if you look at we like 1 or 2% of the population, right? And what happens is when if we are currently, if these businesses, these small businesses or these medium or even these large businesses, they are targeting a local economy. And the moment you increase that, you're able to scale. If you scale your facilities, you scale your manufacturing capability, you're adding jobs, you're adding you're creating so much you're adding bottom line to this economy just by serving other markets. I mean, there's so many businesses you look at, you get your products halal certified as an example, and you might think, oh, what's the cost of me certifying these products and what's the benefit that I'm deriving? But you can stretch that certification by accessing global markets. And so the entire ecosystem will benefit, right? If our businesses grow and grow to access these bigger markets, we grow the economy with us.
Right. Why is has Malaysia succeeded in retaining this top spot? Is it the demographics of the Muslim population, or is it that they're just on the ball?
So it's both, right? So number one, so if you look at this 2.3 trillion dollar opportunity, of course there are some centers where that is concentrated, right? So it's not like this 2.3 is spread evenly across the globe. No, you'll find that there's a big center in Malaysia. Malaysia is a very big consumer market. Indonesia
Mm.
is a very big consumer market. Egypt, Nigeria, etc. And so there's a combination of, yes, they have a big consumer base that's receptive to these products, and it's actually a really good lesson in they almost self-contained. They sort of they can supply their own across all industries. But there's also this push. You see that there's a very big push. From the government side as well, right? They do focus on, I mean, they're having discussions. We've had discussions with them on creating a virtual hubs, halal virtual hubs. This is a foreign concept to most people, but they've reached this point where they want to create these halal ecosystems, halal virtual ecosystems, and they're really taking it to the next level because they fully understand this opportunity.
Right. I like the name of this company. I'm curious. Dinar Standard.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that the standard?
So yes, so interestingly, it was so the company was founded, I think it was like 13 or 14 years ago. Interestingly, it started off as it was called the DinarStandard list. It was really just a media company that was based out of New York, and they created a list of the top 100 most innovative Muslim-owned businesses, right? And that just got picked up by The Economist. It got picked up by a whole bunch of major media houses, and then eventually, alhamdulillah, the name stuck, and it evolved from a media company into an advisory firm. And today, we advise a government in GCC countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, in areas of government innovation, and then also on a focus of the halal economy.
Excellent. Ibrahim Vahed, Consulting Manager at Dinar Standard. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything else you'd like to mention before we close?
Yeah, I think just obviously, if you get a chance, just go to dinarstandard.com, download the report, read it. Even if you're a business, there's significant insights for you, and I encourage you to think big. And even if you're a consumer, it's really important to read this and understand how big and how powerful our Muslim consumer base is.
Yeah, indeed. I've learned something very, very important today. Thank you so much. And I'm sure our listeners have appreciated that very much as well. We thank you for your time, Brother Ibrahim.
You're most welcome, Sister Najma. Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Next up, we speak to Mike Bolhays, educating us on being vigilant on crime during the festive season.